Hello students, today I bring for you a new chapter and that is chemical coordination and integration. It is an important chapter and the last chapter of class 11th biology. In this chapter, we are going to cover NCERT as well as this PDF. And coming to the topic, the first topic will be endocrine glands and hormones, human endocrine system, hormones of heart, kidney and gastrointestinal tract, and the last one is the mechanism of hormone action. We will cover NCERT and as well as this PDF. So let's start this chapter. Endocrine system. It includes endocrine glands and their secretions, that are hormones. Hormones are non-nutrient chemicals that act as intercellular messengers and are produced in trace amounts. Trace amount means very small amount. Coming to human endocrine system, here you can see the locations of human endocrine system and hypothalamus, pituitary, pineal, thyroid, parathyroid, thymus, adrenal, pancreas, gonads. These are the main endocrine glands which we'll cover in this chapter. First of all, hypothalamus. See the diagram where it is located, hypothalamus. It is present in our brain in this portion. Neurosecretory cells or nuclei of hypothalamus secrete the following type of hormones. So hypothalamus secrete the following type of hormone. One is your releasing hormone, inhibiting hormone and oxytocin and vasopressin. Next, coming to releasing hormones, it stimulates secretion of pituitary hormones. Example, gonadotropin releasing hormone GnRH that stimulates release of gonadotropins from pituitary. Details we will cover afterwards. Inhibiting hormone, it inhibits the secretion of pituitary hormones. Example, somatostatin inhibits releasing of growth hormone from pituitary, and oxytocin and vasopressin, these are transported axonally and stored in pituitary. See the diagram, hypothalamus, hypothalamic neurons and the portal for circulation, and pituitary divided into two portions, posterior pituitary and anterior pituitary. Let's see the NCERT what it says. Here you can see endocrine glands lack duct and are hence called ductless glands. Their secretions are called hormones, and the classical definition of hormone is as a chemical produced by endocrine glands and released into the blood and transported to a distinctly located target organ. And the current scientific definition is hormones are non-nutrient chemicals which act as intercellular messengers and are produced in trace amounts. Let's see. Human endocrine system, see the diagram is there. Pituitary, pineal, thyroid, adrenal, pancreas, parathyroid, thymus and gonads, that are testes in males and ovary in females, are the organized endocrine bodies in our body. In addition to these, some other organs, example gastrointestinal tract, liver, kidney and heart, also produce hormones. First of all, hypothalamus. See, hypothalamus is the basal part of diencephalon, forebrain, and it regulates a wide spectrum of body functions. It contains several group of neurosecretory cells called nuclei that produce hormones. These hormones regulate the synthesis and secretion of pituitary hormones. And the hormones produced by hypothalamus are of two types: the releasing hormone that stimulates secretion of pituitary hormones and the inhibiting hormones that inhibit the secretion of pituitary hormones. Example, hypothalamic hormones called gonadotropin releasing hormone GnRH that stimulates the pituitary synthesis and release of gonadotropins. On the other hand, somatostatin from the hypothalamus is an inhibiting hormone that inhibits the release of growth hormones from the pituitary. And the portal circulatory system, and regulate the function of anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary is under the direct neural regulation of the hypothalamus. Here, pituitary gland. It is located in a bony cavity called sella turcica. It is attached to hypothalamus by a stalk. Here you can see in this diagram, it is the sella turcica as it is labeled here. It is attached to a hypothalamus by a stalk. And here anterior pituitary, these are the parts. Posterior pituitary, these are the parts. Next one, parts of pituitary. There are two types of pituitary parts: adenohypophysis or anterior pituitary gland, neurohypophysis, posterior pituitary. Again, adenohypophysis divided into two portions: pars distalis, pars intermedia. Let's start pars distalis, anterior pituitary. It produces the following hormones. See here, it is the pars distalis portion, and they produce somatotrophin or growth hormone, first one, prolactin PRL hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone TSH, adenocorticotropic hormone ACTH, follicle stimulating hormone FSH, and luteinizing hormone LH. These are the hormones secreted by pars distalis or anterior pituitary portion. First of all, somatotrophin or growth hormone. Here you can see, obviously growth hormone for body growth. Oversecretion of growth hormone causes gigantism, like you see in this diagram. Abnormal growth, and hyposecretion of growth hormone causes dwarfism, that is stunted growth. Oversecretion of growth hormone in adult, mainly in the middle age, causes acromegaly. Remember the disease, acromegaly, that is severe disfigurement, especially of the face, like this in the diagram. It leads to serious complications and premature deaths. Early diagnosis of this disease is difficult. It may be undetected for many years. Acromegaly. Second is prolactin or PRL. It regulates growth of mammary glands and milk production. Third is thyroid stimulating hormone TSH, that stimulates secretion of thyroid hormones from thyroid gland. Fourth is adenocorticotropic hormone ACTH, that stimulates the synthesis and secretion of steroid hormones like glucocorticoids from adrenal cortex. Details we will see afterwards. Fifth is follicle stimulating hormone FSH. It stimulates gonadal activity in males. FSH and androgens regulate the sperm formation, that is the formation of sperm, that is called spermatogenesis. In females, the follicle stimulating hormone stimulates the growth and development of ovarian follicle or immature egg that is present inside the ovary. Next is luteinizing hormone that stimulates gonadal activity. In males, it stimulates the synthesis and secretion of androgens from testes, and in female, it induces ovulation and maintains the corpus luteum. Here see the diagram, corpus luteum. Detail we will see in class 12th about this diagram and how the hormone work. In human, it is almost merged with pars distalis, pars intermedia. In human, it is almost merged with pars distalis. It produces melanocyte stimulating hormone MSH, and melanocyte stimulating hormone, it acts on melanocytes to regulate the skin pigmentation, the coloration of the skin, dark in color and white in color, that are controlled by this hormone, melanocyte stimulating hormone. Next, neurohypophysis or pars nervosa. It stores oxytocin and vasopressin, hormones of hypothalamus. They secreted from hypothalamus and stored in the neurohypophysis. Oxytocin, it contracts the smooth muscles. In females, it stimulates the contraction of uterus at the time of childbirth. The uterine muscles, they becomes contracted so that the uterine muscles they become contracted so that the child can easily comes out. And milk ejection from the mammary glands. Vasopressin or antidiuretic hormone ADH. It stimulates reabsorption of water and electrolytes by DCT, distal convoluted tubule of the kidney, and thereby reduces diuresis, that is loss of water through urine. Deficiency of ADH results in diminished ability of the kidney to conserve water, leading to water loss and dehydration. This is called diabetes insipidus. Remember the disease. Third is pineal gland. Before we start pineal gland, let's see the NCERT what it says. See this. It is located in the bony cavity called sella turcica and it attaches to the hypothalamus by a stalk. Next, it is divided to anatomically into an adenohypophysis and a neurohypophysis, two portions, anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary. Adenohypophysis consists of two portions, pars distalis and pars intermedia. The pars distalis region of pituitary, commonly called anterior pituitary, produces growth hormone, prolactin, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. Pars intermedia secrete only one hormone, that is called melanocyte stimulating hormone. Neurohypophysis or pars nervosa, also known as posterior pituitary, stored and release two hormones called oxytocin and vasopressin, which are actually synthesized by the hypothalamus and are transported axonally to neurohypophysis. And oversecretion of the growth hormone result to abnormal growth, that is gigantism, and lower secretion it result stunted growth, that is called dwarfism. And excess secretion of the growth hormone in adult, especially in the middle age, result severe disfigurement of the face, that is called acromegaly. Now here you can see prolactin regulate the growth of the mammary gland and the formation of milk in them. Thyroid stimulating hormone stimulates the synthesis and secretion of thyroid hormones from the thyroid gland. Adrenocorticotropic hormone stimulate the synthesis and secretion of steroid hormones called glucocorticoid from the adrenal cortex. Luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone stimulate the gonadal activity and are called gonadotropin. In male, LH stimulates the synthesis and secretion of hormones called androgen from testes, and in male, FSH and androgens regulate spermatogenesis, that is the formation of the sperm, male gamete. In female, luteinizing hormone induces ovulation of fully mature follicle, that is called Graafian follicle, and maintain the corpus luteum formed from the remnant of the Graafian follicle after ovulation. FSH stimulate growth and development of the ovarian follicle in females. Here, melanocyte stimulating hormone MSH act on the melanocytes, melanin containing cells, and regulate pigmentation of the skin. Oxytocin act on the smooth muscles of our body and stimulate their contraction. In females, it stimulates a vigorous contraction of the uterus at the time of childbirth and milk ejection from the mammary glands. Vasopressin act mainly at the kidney and stimulates reabsorption of water and electrolytes by the distal convoluted tubule and thereby reduces loss of water through the urine, that is diuresis. Hence it is also called as antidiuretic hormone ADH. An impairment affecting synthesis or release of ADH result in a diminished ability of the kidney to conserve water, leading to water loss and dehydration, and this condition is known as diabetes insipidus. Remember the disease, diabetes insipidus. Let's see the pineal gland. The pineal gland is located on the dorsal side of the forebrain. Dorsal side of the forebrain. Pineal secretes a hormone called melatonin. Melatonin play a very important role in the regulation of 24-hour rhythm of our body, that is 24-hour diurnal. For example, it helps in maintaining the normal rhythm of sleep-wake cycle, when to sleep, when to wake, body temperature. In addition, melatonin also influences metabolism, pigmentation, the menstrual cycle, as well as our defense capability. Let's see the PDF, what it says. See here. Here you can see it is your brain portion and pineal gland is located here. Okay, in this area pineal gland is there. Smallest endocrine gland located on dorsal side of the forebrain. It secretes melatonin and function regulate the diurnal rhythm of the body. Example, sleep wake cycle, body temperature, influence metabolism, pigmentation and menstrual cycle. Also influence our defense capability. Next is the thyroid gland. It is the largest endocrine gland of the body, thyroid gland. Largest endocrine gland, it includes two lobes located on either side of the trachea. You can see in this diagram, thyroid gland, it is the trachea area and two lobes are there, 1 and 2. The lobes are interconnected with isthmus, a connective tissue. Isthmus is there. Here you can see isthmus, labia. Thyroid gland is composed of follicles and stromal tissue. Follicular cells secrete the following hormones, that is thyroxine, tetraiodothyronine T4 and triiodothyronine T3 and thyrocalcitonin TCT. Thyrocalcitonin. These follicular cells produce these hormones. Here, thyroxine or tetraiodothyronine T4 and triiodothyronine T3 functions they regulate of basal metabolic rate BMR and physical, mental and sexual development. Also support RBC formation, control metabolism of carbohydrate, proteins and fats, maintain water and electrolyte balance. These all are done by thyroxine hormone that are produced by thyroid gland. Thyrocalcitonin TCT, it is a protein hormone. It regulates lower the body calcium level. See the diagram? Here you can easily get it. Calcium level high, calcium level increases, thyroid releases calcitonin and calcitonin it stimulates calcium deposition in the bones and reduce calcium uptake in the kidney. And when the calcium level low down, parathyroid release PTH, parathyroid hormone, and PTH it stimulates the shear calcium release from the bones, increase calcium uptake in the kidney, increase calcium uptake in the intestine, and again it is high, so it is a cycle one continuous. Iodine is essential for normal hormone synthesis in the thyroid. Hypothyroidism, goiter, enlargement of thyroid gland due to deficiency of iodine. In adult women, it causes irregular menstrual cycle. Hypothyroidism during pregnancy affects the baby, causing stunted growth. That is called cretinism, mental retardation, lower intelligence quotient, abnormal skin, deep and mutism. Hyperthyroidism, abnormal increase of thyroid hormone result adverse effect on the physiological activities. It is caused due to development of the nodules or the cancer of the thyroid gland. See the nodules in the thyroid glands. Exophthalmic goiter, that is Graves' disease, it is a form of hyperthyroidism and the symptoms are enlargement of thyroid gland, protrusion of eyeballs, increased BMR and weight loss. Coming to parathyroid gland, these are 4 glands present on the back side of the thyroid gland. One pair each in the 2 lobes of thyroid glands. See how thyroid and parathyroid are arranged in the diagram. They secrete parathyroid hormone PTH, a peptide hormone. And the functions: increase calcium level in blood, hypercalcemic hormone, stimulate the bone reabsorption, that is demineralization, stimulate the reabsorption of calcium by renal tubule and increase calcium absorption from the digested food. Along with TCT, it helps in calcium balance in the body. Before starting thymus, let's see the NCERT what it says. Pineal completed, thyroid gland, 2 lobes are there either side of the trachea. interconnected with a thin flap of connective tissue that is called isthmus. Thyroid gland composed of follicle and stromal tissue. Each thyroid follicle is composed of follicular cells, and the follicular cells synthesize two hormones, T4 and T3. Iodine is essential for normal rate of hormone synthesis in the thyroid. In deficiency of iodine in our diet, it results to hypothyroidism, that is enlargement of the thyroid gland, commonly called goiter. Hypothyroidism during pregnancy causes defect development and maturation of the growing baby, leading to stunted growth, that is cretinism. Mental retardation, lower intelligence quotient, abnormal skin and deep mutism. In adult women, hypothyroidism may cause menstrual cycle to become irregular. And if the thyroid hormone is increased, abnormal high level leading to condition called hyperthyroidism. Exophthalmic goiter is a form of hyperthyroidism characterized by enlargement of the thyroid gland, protrusion of the eyeball, increased basal metabolic rate and weight loss, also called Graves' disease. It plays an important role in the regulation of the basal metabolic rate, BMR. These hormones also support the process of red blood cells formation. Thyroid hormone control the metabolism of carbohydrates, proteins and fats, maintenance of water and electrolyte balance, and it also secretes protein hormone called thyrocalcitonin, which regulates the blood calcium level. Coming to parathyroid gland, it is present in the backside of the thyroid gland, one pair each in two lobes. We already seen in the diagram. The parathyroid gland secrete a peptide hormone called parathyroid hormone. The secretion of PTH is regulated by circulating levels of calcium ions, and PTH increase the calcium level in the blood. PTH acts on bones and stimulates the process of bone resorption, dissolution or demineralization. It also stimulates reabsorption of calcium by the renal tubule and increase calcium absorption from the digested food. It is thus clear that PTH is a hypercalcemic hormone, that is, it increases the blood calcium level. Along with TCT, it plays a significant role in the calcium balance in the body. Next, thymus. See, it is a bilobed gland located between lungs, behind sternum, on the ventral side of the aorta. It secretes thymosin, a peptide hormone. And functions of thymosin are differentiation of T lymphocytes, which provide cell-mediated immunity, promote antibody production for humoral activity. Thymus is degenerated in old individuals, so production of thymosin decreases. As a result, immunoresponse of old person becomes weak. Next, coming to adrenal gland. It has two parts. Adrenal cortex, that is outer part, see the diagram. Adrenal medulla, that is the inner part. Adrenal cortex, it has three layers, that are inner zona reticularis, middle zona fasciculata, and outer zona glomerulosa. See, zona reticularis, zona fasciculata and zona glomerulosa. It has three layers. It produces corticoid hormones such as glucocorticoid, which maintain mainly cortisol, mineral corticoid, mainly aldosterone, and androgenic corticoids. Three corticoid hormones are produced. First of all, glucocorticoid. What is its work? What is its function? See, it involved in the carbohydrate metabolism. Carbohydrate metabolism stimulates gluconeogenesis, lipolysis, and proteolysis. Inhibits cellular uptake and utilization of amino acids, maintain cardiovascular system and kidney functions. Cortisol stimulates red blood cells production. It produces anti-inflammatory reactions and suppress immune response. As you can see, glucocorticoids, these are the functions. Coming to mineral corticoids, it regulates water body fluid volume. electrolyte balance, osmotic pressure and blood pressure. Aldosterone stimulates the reabsorption of sodium and water from renal tubule and excretion of potassium and phosphorus ions. Third, androgenic corticoids. For growth of axial hair, pubic hair and facial hair during puberty, that is caused by androgenic corticoids hormones. Deficiency of this corticoid hormone, it affects the carbohydrate metabolism. It causes acute weakness and fatigue. This condition is called Addison's disease. Now coming to adrenal medulla. It produces catecholamines hormones such as adrenaline or epinephrine and noradrenaline, norepinephrine. They are rapidly secreted in response to stress emergency situations, so called emergency hormones or hormones for fight and flight. These hormones increase alertness, pupillary dilation, pleo that is rising of hairs, body hair, sweating, heartbeat, heart contraction and respiratory rate. They also stimulate breakdown of glycogen to increase glucose in blood. Also stimulate their breakdown of the lipids and proteins. Before starting pancreas, let's see the NCERT, what it says. Here again, thymus gland is a lobular structure located between lungs, behind the sternum, on the ventral side of the aorta. Major role in the development of the immune system. This gland secretes the peptide hormone called thymosin and play an important role in differentiation of T lymphocytes, which provide cell-mediated immunity. In addition to thymosins, also promote production of antibodies to provide humoral immunity. Thymus is degenerated in old individuals, resulting in a decreased production of thymosin. Coming to adrenal glands, our body has one pair of adrenal glands, one at the anterior part of each kidney. This gland is composed of two types of tissue. The centrally located tissue is called adrenal medulla and the outside this lies the adrenal cortex. Underproduction of hormones by the adrenal cortex alters carbohydrate metabolism, causing acute weakness and fatigue, leading to a disease that is called Addison's disease. The adrenal medulla secrete two hormones called adrenaline and or epinephrine and noradrenaline or norepinephrine. These are commonly called catecholamines. Adrenaline and noradrenaline are rapidly secreted in response to stress of any kind of during emergency situations. That's why they are called emergency hormones or hormones for flight and fight. These hormones increase alertness, pupillary dilation, pleo that is raising of hair, sweating, etc. And both these hormones increase the heartbeat, the strength of the heart contraction and the rate of respiration. Catecholamines also stimulate the breakdown of glycogen, that resulting in the increase of concentration of glucose in the blood. In addition, they also stimulate the breakdown of lipids and proteins. And the adrenal cortex divided into three layers: zona reticularis, inner layer, zona fasciculata, middle layer, and zona glomerulosa, outer layer. We already seen in the diagram in that PDF. The adrenal cortex secretes many hormones commonly called corticoids. The corticoids which are involved in the carbohydrate metabolism are called glucocorticoids. In our body, cortisol is the main glucocorticoid. Corticoids that regulate the balance of water and electrolyte of the body are called mineral corticoids. And example, aldosterone. Glucocorticoid stimulates gluconeogenesis, lipolysis and proteolysis and inhibit cellular uptake and utilization of amino acids. Cortisol is also involved in the maintaining of the cardiovascular system as well as the kidney function. Glucocorticoids, particularly cortisol, produces anti-inflammatory reactions and suppresses the immune response. Cortisol stimulates the RBC production. Aldosterone acts mainly at the renal tubule and stimulates the reabsorption of the Na and water, and excretion of potassium and phosphate ions. Thus, aldosterone helps in the maintenance of electrolyte, body fluid volume, osmotic pressure and blood pressure. Small amount of androgenic steroid are also secreted by the adrenal cortex, which play a role in the growth of axial hair, pubic hair and facial hair during puberty. Now, let's go to the PDF. Here, pancreas. A composite heterocrine gland, that is exocrine plus endocrine. Islets of Langerhans are the endocrine part. Islets of Langerhans. There are about 1 to 2 million islets, or 1 to 2% of pancreatic tissue. Alpha cell and beta cells in the islets secrete peptide hormones such as glucagon and insulin, respectively. They maintain glucose homeostasis in blood. First of all, glucagon, hyperglycemic factor. It acts on hepatocytes and stimulates glycogenolysis, resulting in an increased blood sugar, that is hyperglycemia. Stimulate gluconeogenesis, reduces the cellular glucose uptake and utilization. Here you can see this diagram. Lower blood glucose from pancreas, it secrete glucagon, releases the alpha cell of the pancreas, and then it goes to the liver, release the glucose into the blood, achieve normal blood glucose level. And if body have high blood sugar, high blood glucose, pancreas release insulin by the beta cells of the pancreas, and fat cells take in glucose from the blood, and body having normal blood. This is how it works. Coming to insulin, it acts on hepatocytes and adipocytes and enhances cellular glucose uptake and utilization. So blood glucose rapidly moves to hepatocytes and adipocytes. Thus blood glucose level decreases, that is hypoglycemia. Stimulates glycogenesis, that is glucose converted into glycogen, that is called glycogenesis. Now, diabetes mellitus. It is a disorder due to prolonged hyperglycemia, and symptoms are loss of glucose through urine and formation of harmful compounds like ketone bodies. Treatment is the insulin therapy. Let's see the NCERT, what it says about pancreas. It is a composite gland which acts as both exocrine and endocrine gland. The endocrine pancreas consists of islets of Langerhans. There are about 1 to 2 million islets of Langerhans in a normal human pancreas, representing only 1 to 2% of the pancreatic tissue. The two main cells of the islet of Langerhans are called alpha and beta cell. Alpha cell secrete glucagon and beta cell secrete insulin. Glucagon is a peptide hormone. Important role is to maintain the normal blood sugar level, blood glucose level. Glucagon acts mainly on the liver cell, hepatocytes, and stimulates glycogenolysis, resulting in an increased blood sugar, that is hyperglycemia. In addition, this hormone stimulates the process of gluconeogenesis, which also contribute to hyperglycemia. Glucagon reduces the cellular glucose uptake and utilization. Thus, glucagon is a hyperglycemic hormone. Insulin is a peptide hormone. It also plays an important role in the regulation of glucose homeostasis. It mainly acts on hepatocytes and adipocytes, that is the cells of adipose tissue, and enhances cellular glucose uptake and utilization. And as a result, we have decreased blood glucose level, hypoglycemia. Insulin also stimulates conversion of the glucose to glycogen, that is a glycogenesis, in the target cells. This glucose homeostasis in blood is thus maintained jointly by the two hormones, insulin and glucagon. And prolonged hyperglycemia leads to complex disorder that is called diabetes mellitus, which is associated with the loss of glucose through urine and formation of harmful compounds known as ketone bodies. And it is diabetic patients are successfully treated with insulin therapy throughout their life. Now coming to the gonads, testis and ovary. Let's see the PDF. Gonads. Gonads are two types. Testis, that is male gonad, ovary, that is female gonads. Coming to testis, it is a male primary sex organ and an endocrine gland. A pair of testes is present in the scrotal sac. Here you can see. It is a scrotal sac and a pair of testes are present here. Outside of the abdomen, male body. It is formed of seminiferous tubules and interstitial stromal tissue. Inside the testis you can see there are many seminiferous tubules are there and interstitial stromal tissues are also there. Leydig cells in the intertubular spaces produce hormone called androgen, mainly called testosterone. Leydig cells, remember. And the functions of the androgen regulate the development and maturation of functions of the accessory sex organs, spermatogenesis, that is sperm production, stimulate sexual behavior, that is libido, growth of muscles, hairs, aggressiveness, low pitch voice, etc. Help in anabolism of protein and carbohydrates. Coming to ovary. It is a female primary sex organ. A pair of ovary is located in the abdomen, inside the body. It produces one ovum during each menstrual cycle. I already told you details about this topic we will cover in class 12. Ovary is formed of ovarian follicle and stromal tissue. Ovarian follicle produces estrogen, a steroid hormone. After ovulation, ruptured follicle forms a structure that is called corpus luteum. It secretes progesterone, which is also a steroid hormone. Functions of estrogen. It stimulates growth and activities of female secondary sex organ. Development of ovarian follicle. Female secondary sex characters, example high pitch voice and sexual behavior, and development of the mammary glands. Functions of progesterone. It supports pregnancy. It acts on mammary glands to stimulate formation of alveoli, that is the sac to stored milk and milk secretion. Hormones of heart, kidney, gastrointestinal tract. Let's see the NCERT, what it says. Here, same points are given. Pair of testes present in the scrotal sac outside abdomen of male individual, and it performs dual functions as a primary sex organ as well as endocrine gland because it produces hormones. It is composed of seminiferous tubules and stromal or interstitial tissue. The Leydig cells which are present in the intertubular space produce a group of hormones that are called androgens and that are mainly called testosterone. Androgen regulate the development, maturation and function of the male's accessory sex organs like epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle, prostate gland and urethra. These hormones stimulate muscles growth, growth of facial and axillary hair, aggressiveness, low pitch voice, etc. Androgens play a major stimulating role in the process of spermatogenesis. Androgen act on the central neural system and influences the male sexual behavior, that is called libido. Ovary. Female have pair of ovary located in the abdomen inside the body. Ovary is the primary female sex organ which produces one ovum during each menstrual cycle. In addition, ovary also produces two groups of steroid hormones that are called estrogen and progesterone. Ovary is composed of ovarian follicle and stromal tissue. The estrogen is synthesized and secreted mainly by the growth ovarian follicles. And after ovulation, the ruptured follicle is converted to a structure that is called corpus luteum, which secretes mainly progesterone. Estrogen produce wide-ranging actions such as stimulation of growth and activities of female secondary sex organs, development of growing ovarian follicle, appearance of female secondary sex characters, example high pitch of voice, etc. Mammary glands development. Estrogen also regulate female sexual behavior. Progesterone support pregnancy. It also acts on the mammary glands to stimulate the formation of alveoli, where the milk is stored and milk secretion. Let's see the PDF. Hormones of heart, kidney and gastrointestinal tract. First of all, arterial wall of the tract. Arterial wall of the heart. It produces a peptide hormone called arterial natriuretic factor ANF. When blood pressure is increases, the arterial natriuretic factor causes the dilation of the blood vessel to reduce the blood pressure. Here you can see it is also called vasodilation. Means the artery becomes wide like this, and the blood pressure, which will be high, it is reduced. JGA of kidney. JGA means juxtaglomerular apparatus. It produces erythropoietin, which is a peptide hormone. It stimulates erythropoiesis, that is the formation of RBC. Here you can see erythropoietin development, iron dependent, and RBC are formed. Erythropoiesis. Coming to gastrointestinal tract, it produces some peptide hormones, example gastrin, which stimulate gastric glands to secrete HCl and pepsinogen. Secretin, it stimulates exocrine pancreas to secrete water and bicarbonate ions. Gastric inhibitory peptide GIP, which inhibits the gastric secretion, and cholecystokinin, CCK. Stimulates secretion of the bile from gallbladder and pancreatic enzyme from the pancreas. Several other non-endocrine tissues secrete hormones called growth factor. These are essential for the normal growth of tissue and their repairing and or regeneration. Here the growth factor, see that in the diagram. You can get a clear vision of this point. Now coming to NCERT, what it says here. Like arterial wall of our heart secrete a very important peptide hormone called arterial natriuretic factor, which decreases the blood pressure and it causes dilation of the blood vessels and reduce the blood pressure. The juxtaglomerular cells of the kidney produces a peptide hormone that is called erythropoietin, which stimulates the erythropoiesis, that is the formation of RBC. Endocrine cells present in the different parts of the gastrointestinal tract secrete four major peptide hormones, namely gastrin, secretin, cholecystokinin, and gastric inhibitory peptide. Gastrin act on gastric gland, stimulate the secretion of hydrochloric acid and pepsinogen. Secretin act on the exocrine pancreas and stimulate secretion of the water and bicarbonate ions. CCK act on both pancreas and gallbladder and stimulate the secretion of pancreatic enzymes and bile juice respectively. And the gastric inhibitory peptide inhibits the gastric secretion and motility. And some other non-endocrine tissue secrete hormones called growth factor, and these factors are essential for the normal growth of the tissue and their repairing or regeneration. Next topic, see the PDF here. Types of hormones based on chemical nature. Peptide, polypeptide, protein hormones. Example insulin, glucagon, pituitary hormones, hypothalamic hormones. Remember, questions will be asked. Steroids, example cortisol, testosterone, estradiol and progesterone. Iodothyronine, thyroid hormones. Amino acid derivatives, example adrenaline, noradrenaline. Mechanism of hormone action. Hormones produce to their effect by binding to the specific protein, hormone receptors located in the target tissue. A hormone binds to its specific receptor to form hormone receptor complex like this. Here you can see it is steroid hormone. It comes to particular specific tissue where the receptor protein is present, and it then binds with the and becomes hormone receptor complex. It leads to biochemical changes in the target tissue and thereby regulates the metabolism and physiological functions. Hormone receptors are two types. One is your membrane bound receptor and intracellular receptor. Here you can see Membrane bound receptors, where it is bound in the plasma membrane and then coming to the nucleus. Intracellular receptors, when it is comes directly inside the nucleus. Let's see. First of all, membrane bound receptors. Some hormones, example protein hormones, FSH, interact with membrane bound receptors, do not enter the target cell. It generates second messengers, example cyclic AMP, IP3 or Ca2+. It is in turn regulates cellular metabolism and causes physiological effects. You see the way hormone, example FSH, binds to the receptor, hormone receptor complex, response 1 generate the second messenger, biochemical responses, then physiological responses, example ovarian growth. As it says, it is the FSH hormone. Okay, it then comes to receptor protein, 2 portion. Then here you can see a particular chain is work here, generate second messenger, and then it comes to finally biochemical responses occur and then physiological responses occur. Now coming to intracellular receptors, some hormones interact with intracellular receptors, mostly nuclear receptors, example steroid hormones, iodothyronine. They mostly regulate gene expression or chromosomal function by the interaction of hormone receptors complex with the genome. Cumulative biochemical reactions result in the physiological and development of the effect. See the diagram? Here it is a hormone estrogen. It is a intracellular receptor hormones. It directly comes inside the nucleus and where it becomes hormone receptor complex and then the genome, mRNA, proteins, then physiological responses, tissue growth and differentiation occur. See the way again hormone binds to the receptor, hormone receptor complex occur inside the nucleus, stimulate genome, formation of mRNA, production of protein, then physiological response, example tissue growth and differentiation occur. And with this PDF topic is covered. Let's see your NCERT. And after the NCERT topic, we will do the exercise. Discuss the questions of the exercise. Here again, binding specific proteins called hormone receptors, cell membrane, membrane bound receptors and intercellular receptors. And after that, the binding, they become hormone receptor complex. And then as you can see, peptide, polypeptide, protein hormone, example insulin, glucagon, pituitary hormones, hypothalamic hormones, steroids, example cortisol, testosterone, estradiol and progesterone, adrenal, thyroid hormone, amino acid derivatives, example epinephrine. Hormones which interact with the membrane bound receptors normally do not enter the target cell, remember, but generate a second messenger, which in turn regulates cellular metabolism. But hormones which interact with the intracellular receptors, they do not require any type of messenger, they directly work or they directly act and regulate the gene expression and chromosomal functions by the interaction of hormone receptor complex with the genome. See the diagrams are also here. Both the diagrams are there. And with this topic is completed of your NCERT as well as the PDF. As I told you, let's discuss the exercise. Here the summary is given, important points, then exercise. First of all, define the following. Exocrine glands. Obviously, exocrine glands are sebaceous glands, sweat glands, salivary glands, intestinal glands, secrete their secretions on the surface or into a specific region via duct in order to conduct a metabolic function. Endocrine glands, these are the unique glands that secrete informational molecules or hormones that are injected into the blood or lymph to reach the target organ, because there is no duct connecting to the gland or to the target organ. Coming to hormones, hormone is a chemical produced by the endocrine glands. And second, diagrammatically indicate the location of various endocrine glands in our body is the diagram. in your NCERT, the first diagram you have to draw and proper label it. Third, list of hormones secreted by the following. Hypothalamus. Hypothalamus secrete, well, it secretes many hormones. Hypothalamus, let's see. First of all, thyrotropin releasing hormone, corticotropin, follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, growth inhibiting hormones, prolactin releasing hormone, prolactin inhibiting hormone, melanocyte stimulating hormone, melanocyte inducing hormone, inhibiting hormone. Pituitary, it also produces, as we know, it has two lobes, anterior and posterior. And coming to anterior, middle and posterior, coming to anterior, hormones that are FSH, LH, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, growth hormone and prolactin hormone. Coming to middle, there are melanocyte stimulating hormone. Coming to posterior lobe, oxytocin and vasopressin. Third, thyroid. Thyroid secrete thyroxine or tetraiodothyronine, triiodothyronine T3 and T4 and calcitonin hormones. Coming to parathyroid, this gland secretes single hormones called parathormone PTH, or it is also called Collips hormone. Coming to adrenal, it has two regions, outer adrenal cortex, inner medulla. And coming to hormones, adrenal cortex divided into three categories: glucocorticoid, example cortisol; mineral corticoid, example aldosterone; and third one is the testosterone. Adrenal medulla, it secretes two hormones, epinephrine, norepinephrine. Sixth one, pancreas. Pancreas secretes insulin, glucagon and somatostatin hormones. Coming to testis, it secretes androgen hormones. Coming to ovary, it secretes estrogen such as estradiol, progesterone and relaxin. Thymus, it secretes thymosin hormone. Atrium secretes atrial natriuretic factor ANF. Kidney secretes renin, erythropoietin hormone. And GI tract means gastrointestinal tract, they secrete gastrin, secretin, cholecytokinin. These hormones are secreted by GI tract. Here, hormones and target gland. Coming to fourth one, hypothalamic hormone. The target gland is pituitary. Okay. And thyrotropin hormone, TSH, thyroid. Corticotropin, acid, and that is, it is adrenal cortex. Gonadotropin, it releases gonads that are LH and FSH, and target gland is the testis in male, testis and ovary. Fifth one, melanotropin, MSH, and the target gland is the skin. Okay. Next, short note you have to write. Sixth one, coming to example, hyperglycemic hormone or hypoglycemic hormone. Here you can see hyperglycemic hormone, that is parathormone. Parathormone, PTH. Hypercalcemic hormone, it is glucagon and insulin. Gonadotropic hormone, it is, there are two types of gonadotropic hormone, FSH and LH, right? Progesterol hormone, it is progesterone. Blood pressure lowering hormone, it is atrial natriuretic factor A ANF. Androgen and estrogen, that is from androgen it is testosterone, and from estrogen it is estradiol, right? Next, which hormone deficiency is responsible for the following? Diabetes mellitus. It is caused by lack of hormone insulin. Goitre, it is caused by lack of thyroxine hormone, and cretinism, it is caused by lack of thyroid hormone. Next, briefly mention the mechanism of action of FSH. You have to write, explain the work of FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. And ninth one, last one, here you can see matching. So let's match. T4 is a thyroid hormone, PTH parathyroid hormone, GnRH hypothalamus, LH pituitary. Okay, and with this we have completed this whole chapter as well as the NCERT with question answers. So thank you for watching this video, and if you find any doubt, simply ask me. My number in the description, and do not forget to comment, and new viewers please subscribe my channel. Thank you. Jai Jagannath.